All right, for today, the highlight, if you look at these green dashed lines, you might say, what do they mean? And if you don't know that they mean that there's icebergs, then really there's nothing you're going to be able to do with them. But a couple of things happened. Number one, the market had rallied into them, and then they all danced around. Icebergs in this case are green. They were buy icebergs, which means they're resting bids with more than meets the eye. And there was a lot of resting buy volume. Two things I look at. I think that it's near term bearish actually, if especially if you can get through the bottom of it. But if you can't, you got to put horns on, or at least say this is an area where they came in that's probably going to be support. And then look how well it was support in there and then in there. There's no coincidence that when you identify information like that, subsequent to it could be support or resistance. And so there was actually a short trade I got into in here and couldn't do anything with it. And then put them back out in here because we've seen some shorts puke. Didn't do great, but didn't do bad. And it was one of those things where I said, if you're short, you got to get it to go pretty quickly. It's doing this too long. And if it doesn't go pretty quickly, it's going to do that. And then it does that. It's just about timing, and the longer it takes to kind of go down, you're inviting more people to get short because they see the price was higher than it was back down in here. Next thing you know, it doesn't do, if you're short up in here, what you want it to do, and that's that kind of price action. So, when you rally and then you get a bunch of buying to come out, generally, once you can get below where that buying came out, you could head back south, especially if you use the tool to see where shorts also puke, which is also a very important element to heading back down. So keep that in mind when you're watching order flow. Reading order flow is about watching it and knowing what questions to ask. And most people think that just because they can identify different types of orders, that's the whole shooting match. It's far from it. You don't know what questions that they present. I have to know how to answer those questions. And I've always said to people, stop looking for the right answer, start looking for the right questions. And it's the right questions to ask. And it's like, what should happen? What does happen? Did that order move the market in the direction it should have moved it, and everything else? Subscribe to this channel to get us to and through 1,000.